Good morning and welcome to Unpacking, where we are looking at this indie game on Judging by the Cover. This is a game I have not played, just like the other games that I've reviewed on this series. And this time, we're looking at something that's a few years old, but it's touted as a pretty innovative and impressive indie game that takes things from a little bit of a different perspective. Definitely in the cozy vein, which, in my older age, I say in my 30s, I've definitely gotten to appreciate more of the games that can be relaxing and cozy and just sometimes be a bit of a different experience than the action packed, heat of the moment, running gun fests that a lot of games really go for nowadays. Now, the trailers do show us quite a bit of fun little gameplay here uh, in a way that is pretty much relatable to anybody that has ever had to move in their lives. So, most of us in our adulthood. You know what? Let's just go ahead and carry right on down to the description to get this. Unpacking is a Zen game about the familiar experience of pulling possessions out of boxes and fitting them into a new home. Part block fitting puzzle, part home decoration, you are invited to create a satisfying living space while learning clues about the life you are unpacking. Over the course of 8 house moves, you are given a chance to experience a sense of intimacy with a character you never see and a story you've never told. So you're basically experiencing this character's life by proxy, where you as the player don't know much about them, but you learn about them as you unpack their moves here. Now, what I do find interesting is that the description does tell us that it is basically a puzzle of 8 individual moves. Now, I don't know about how long each of those moves should take. I imagine it varies a little bit as they get older and, maybe accumulate more possessions to be moved, especially when you're trying to fit them and arrange them into the house. In a way that not only makes sense, but a way that you, the player, like, but probably a way that can also, suit whatever the character that you think you're developing is. And I do notice that the trailer did showcase what looked like a kind of sticker collection, where if you put certain objects in certain locations, you get little stickers as unlockables for little photo shoot kind of things, which kind of interesting. And the Steam page here does also show that it comes with 25 achievements. Those are probably related to a lot of those sticker unlocks. So the features, you unpack a home from a single bedroom to an entire house. The meditative gameplay with no timers, no meters, no scores. So you are not there's no incentive for speed running or trying to gun through it, although I'm sure speed running might be kind of, a thing that you can try and do. Uh it'd be I feel like this would be a really weird game to speed run though. Explore domestic environments with all their nooks and crannies while you stack plates, hang towels, and arrange bookshelves. We can see just from the little GIF image here that there are tons of locations in each room where you open drawers, you open cabinets, you lay things out, put things on top shelves. Like you get a lot of freedom for where things go. You discover a character story through the items that come with her to each new home and the items that get left behind. So I'm sure as a person grows up, there are things that get left behind, especially if they end up having to move somewhere smaller than their last house. There's probably a fair amount where you have to kind of gauge, okay, what is this person moving on from? How are they growing? What is their professional life looking like as they're growing up? And a soundtrack by BAFTA, the award winning composer and audio director Jeff Van Dyke. The name doesn't strike a but BAFTA award. I've seen that name coming up a few times in these reviews for that award network. So that's a very short and simple description. There's not really much else to go off of here. Developer Witchbeam from Humble Games is the publisher and franchise. So casual indie simulation. It's a very simple motif, and the visual design gives you this isometric layout in each room that still very clearly communicates the space you have to work with. The gameplay, like I've said, it looks incredibly simple. Let's go ahead and snap through the screenshots. The screenshots do show us a quite a little array here from what looks like, somebody's one bedroom apartment with their little fold in closet here. They're like straight up out of IKEA pages, it looks like, unless, maybe this takes place in some Japan or other Asian country. It's hard to say really because a lot of places do have apartments that are tiny like this where you have your little shelves here, very limited storage. You got you have just enough space, barely enough space for your bed and for your twin bed and your computer. We do have another space here. This one looks more like a childhood bedroom, probably a move that happens in the character's childhood. If I were to make a guess, soccer trophy, diary with a lock, and the purples and the bright colors give a very childlike young girl decorative motif to the character, along with the use of space setting a work desk underneath a bunk bed. So another very efficient space usage here, along with I that looks like some kind of the little animal figure looks like some weird combination of Rhydon and Nidoqueen from Pokemon, but in a sumo pose. So the toy designs are also going to get a little wild. It looks like we have a bathroom where so we unpack a bathroom as well. In fact, for anyone that does go out and follows up with the trailer, the bathroom is the scene that really highlights the sticker unlocks with something that might be a little morbid. Hopefully that's not indicating anything about the character's personality or struggles that, we're supposed to be figuring out. I'm hoping that it's just innocuous. We have a full-blown living room here, full three-seater couch, game consoles and everything, which what console are we looking at here? Looks like I'm gonna guess a PlayStation 2, maybe 3. It looks like they do have a pet and a Sailor Venus cosplay. Somebody's gonna correct me on that one. We do see here more of the sticker unlocks, but not with the bathroom scene, that we did see in the trailers that you can set the sticker into the scene, take a snapshot of it. So that is kind of cool. We got apparently, a D20. So this person is a D&D player. Even just these screenshots in the trailer are showing us tiny snippets of what kind of character we've got here. That does seem that they enjoy their fantasy setting, their friends. You even see they got a dice bag and their character sheet there with the chicken and the decoration in the background with the bookshelf. And then one here that is a more modern look, probably more into their adult life with the little bullet blender for single serving shakes for whatever protein shakes, health shakes they're working with. Small fridge, you got tiny little kitchen here, but the kitchen is just enough space with the electric stove top and everything here. The sink and dining area is just so minimalist, but again, depending on where this character lives, that might be the kind of space that is available to try and get enough people packed into whatever metropolitan area they're moving into, probably for work or school. But yeah, the screenshots do show quite a bit, along with the trailers giving us quite a look into the gameplay, showing us the controls. Now, this game is $20 at full price from Humble Games here. Or on Steam, it's $20. On the Switch, it is the same price, but my concerns are that with like it tells us there are 8 levels for this one character's life. I don't know how much time is to be expected out of each level. And of course, later levels, when a character is growing up and has more possessions to unpack, later levels will probably take longer to do, especially since I'm sure it gives you time to rearrange and move things around however you like, to go ahead and try out different decorations, especially if you're going for those sticker unlocks. So I'm sure that you do get quite a bit of gameplay out of it. It's just that the $20 price tag on both the Steam and the Switch, it feels like the kind of it seems like it'd be more than I'd pay. Maybe I could do maybe $10 for this myself. But of course, anybody else out there who has played this, the game is not exactly new. Let me know if you think the $20 price tag is worth it, because this is the kind of game that I think could be very interesting just as an exploration in storytelling and a way to experience that sort of style choice from the developers. And because even if the game is not a huge blockbuster in the veins of, you know, Pokemon, Metroid, Spyro, Mega Man, or even big indie games. I know Cave Story, Stardew Valley, Minecraft started off as an indie game. Those are big titles that just blew up. I don't think a game like this would ever take off like that, but I feel like the game is still impressively laid out, even in its very simple approach. The art is cute, very much so. Like everything is clearly defined. You can tell what is what just by looking at it. You don't need complicated menus explaining everything to you. Probably just tells you, point and click, explore the room, try clicking on different things to see what opens up and what's in the room, how you want to lay things out. You can rotate things. There's the little standing art figure that you were able to pose in different poses. And the fact that the character had that tells me that this character was probably an artist or practicing art and drawing at some point in their life. Just a lot of little details like that where it's telling me that it wants to focus more on exploring the character's story in a very unconventional method. And I feel like that alone is enough to rate this game at an easy 9 out of 10. Now, there are a couple of points that keep me from going a full 10 out of 10. One, that $20 price tag, I'm a little skeptical about that just based on how much time I think I might get out of the game, being 8 levels, and not knowing how much replay value I'd get out of it when other cute indie games have gotten, mountains of playtime out of them. Not to say that it's not worth $20, it's just when I look at a $20 price tag, I'm personally more skeptical, and I would be glad to be proven wrong. I would love to see that the development studio is definitely worth $20 on this. Um, if I it is it's enough to where it might put me off from buying it right away, but if I really get the itch for it, I would probably go ahead and buy it at full price. Otherwise, I would probably wait until maybe a $10 sale on some platform. My other concern, however, is not for the Steam or not for the game specifically, but when I think about it on the Switch. I did look on the Switch eShop just to kind of get a little comparison here, and considering that the Switch uses the joystick controllers, I feel like using those for this kind of control scheme is just going to be a little more cumbersome than playing on a computer. Although playing on a handheld device feels like it would be much more enjoyable since I could sit in the recliner out in the living room. I could take it with me on the go and play during some downtime on a trip or something. It is the kind of thing where I don't think I would want to play this sitting at my computer desk, but a mouse, like using a mouse to control the game as opposed to a controller, just feels more intuitive for it. Now, of course, if you just have a laptop that isn't tethered by one, two, three, four, five, six, like 6+ cables hooked up to everything for your recording and streaming setup, that wouldn't be as much of an issue. If you just have a laptop and a mouse, you can go sit on a recliner, on a patio, anywhere you want. The laptop packs away just the same as a Nintendo Switch does. At the same time, if a game like this was put on mobile, I'm also not confident that touchscreens would be preferable for this, because touchscreens can be very finicky, especially if the phone is getting hot and certain areas of the screen are not responding the way you want them to. I've had those issues with touchscreens in different kinds of settings before. Overall, though, like I said, easy 9 out of 10. Maybe on a sale, I could go 10 out of 10. Otherwise, the other thing holding me off is that while I would prefer to play on a Switch, using a controller for it doesn't feel as organic for how the game wants you to play, at least by looking at the store page. Again, if anybody out there has experience with this, by all means, leave some comment, leave some feedback. If you think I am blowing it out my ass, Let me know how wrong I am, and maybe somebody convinces me. But this is a game that I would like to experience at some point. It's just a matter of me justifying the cost for it. And while $20 isn't much, it is a bit in the game department where it's like I'm a little more careful on where I spend my money.